It was about 3 years ago. I remember there was a big storm outside, lots of rain and thunder. I was sitting at our first advisory board meeting in this beautifully designed building at Tel Aviv University, holding a cup of hot tea. We were talking about how to develop an app that will be best suited for teenagers, and pretty soon I found myself sharing my fears with our board members. Are we really able to do this? Are we really know how to do this? Itai sat in front of me, looked at me with a straight face. Then he put his hand on my shoulder, just to make sure he has my full attention, and said, "You know, whenever I have an idea for a new app, I try to do everything to dive into it. I learn everything I can. I upload it to the App Store, review the progress, test it, and see what happens." We all need to go through the process of getting there. Don't be afraid to fail. That's the way it works. Well, this conversation happened when Itai was 12 years old. I remember I was thinking about it and thought that we tend to overlook grown-ups' advice. What Itai said can be a cliché, but when a teenager says something like that, it really grabs you and makes you want to act. So 3 years ago, I founded an online learning platform for teenagers where they can create and upload short videos in order to teach other teenagers materials from all subject matters learned at school. And right from the start, I knew one thing, that if we want to reach out to them, we have to involve them. So I reached out to middle school and high school students. I knew that I should do it where they spend most of their time. And now, that's not school. It's social media. So I joined various teenage groups online and forums, and one day I posted a note in one of them saying, "Hi, my name is Yifat Yudovsky. I'm creating an online learning platform for teenagers and would love for you to be a real part of the process." My goal was learning from them by mainly listening about the apps and the platforms they use, the contact devices they have, the content they use to consume, and what is their take on learning at school and beyond. My friends and colleagues, they thought I was crazy. "You want to do what? Have you ever tried to spend time with a teenager? You want them to tell you what to do?" And many said, "You really think that any teenager will be interested in spending their time on this? Well, good luck." But for me, it was just common sense. You see, most companies that target teenagers, they don't have teenagers on their board. Well, almost nobody does. They usually have focus groups, read research about teenagers, create products for them, platforms for them. But wouldn't it be much easier, simpler, and even better to include the end user in the process? Right? So pretty soon, I founded our board, our teen advisory board. It was important to me to have our advisory board comprised out of teenagers, and not just as a gimmick. We started to meet on a monthly basis, sharing with them what we had done so far, hearing them out, listening, and building with them our business and marketing strategy. Our board meeting was some of my favorite time. Just imagine a board meeting with teenagers who know that they are helping to create something for them. They were so excited to have adults listen to them, really listen to them. And we were so excited to have our target audience tell us what they want, what they really want. So we entered together an accelerator program for educational startups, and we started our pilot by having a video creating workshop for teenagers. By now you may think that we created the workshop together with them, right? Well, we didn't, but we definitely should have. Instead, we used the help of a formal, really experienced pedagogical counselor to create the workshop. After all, we thought we need someone with formal knowledge and experience. And the first class I entered was the 8th grade classroom in Kfar Saba. I started by introducing myself, our venture, explained about the process. Then I started going through the format of the workshop. It took me about 10 minutes to stop and look around. And all I saw was those faces that my colleagues warned me about. Bored teenagers about to roll their eyes. It happened. And then I thought, wait a minute, these teens, they're not so different than the ones we have in our board. So how can we engage them? How can we make them participate? How can I bring out their creativity and energy? At that moment, I threw away the written workshop. It took me 10 minutes to find myself standing on a table in the middle of the classroom when one of the kids, of the students, of the classmates, was directing me and 2 other classmates on how to pose as stars in a solar system. While the entire classroom was filled with energy and everybody was shouting about which angle they would use to take this video and which app and platform they would use to edit it. An entire classroom filled with remarkable ideas, creativity, enthusiasm, and cooperation. It was there and that I realized 2 things. 1, that we really have to abandon the written layout. And 2, these teens, they don't need us to tell them what to do. They don't need us to tell them how to do it. They only need us to give them the tools to fly, to think, and to be creative. From then on, we started letting students taking over our sessions. We understood that our job in the process was to be the mediators, the enablers, helping them to connect the dots on the map they were drawing themselves. And the positive feedback kept on coming on from them. The results were even more amazing than we could ever anticipate. Take, for example, Adar and Natalie. Sitting on the bed, studying for their history final exams. After they composed the facts they were taught in class, connected it to contemporary music while singing it and playing it on the guitar. Nice, right? It was then that I realized something, that what I saw in my own business can really make a bigger impact. So 1.5 years ago, I started to work with teenage entrepreneurs, lecturing, mentoring, working with independent teams and hackathons. This all led me to work with hubs, local authorities, educational organizations and associations, and the Israeli Ministry of Education, all in order to help them better understand their target audience, the teenagers, in order to help them to really know how to open up and listen and find ways to involve them. During this past summer, I was in charge of an international entrepreneurship program for teenagers. I was working with 13-year-old Shakel Gvirtzman. While working on his venture, Shakel told me that the main principle driving him, it's cute, right? That the main principle that was driving him was value for money. He learned it from his family. When he was younger, well, younger than 13, his mom used to take him to these holiday shows where they sell the merchandise outside, which he was never allowed to buy. It wasn't because they didn't have the money or because she didn't want him to have toys. Instead, she took him downtown to the wholesale stores where they sell it because she really wanted him to understand and really grasp the concept of value. what you can ask and demand as a consumer. You see, in the work we do, in our attempt to understand teenagers as consumers, as our target audience, we should really give them a true place in the discussion. We should even let them make the decisions, empower them. They have their own take in life that we might not even think about, driven entirely out of creativity, innovation, and their lack of fear. While students are only 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. It's not about us, it's about them. This premise works and guides every business that wants to survive and be sustainable. So why not implement it in our educational systems? Thank you.